to do some sketchy shit. Do-da, hope I get away with it. Oh, do-da-day.
Good evening, folks. I'm Dan Hollifield. Welcome to Last Man Standing. This will be a short one, I suppose. I do not know. I've already got a comment here. Hello, Daniel. Cheers. Yeah, sorry. There's stuff going on in the background that I'm not exactly happy about, but I'm not going to burden you with my troubles. So let me do a film noir thing for Carl here. Humphrey Bogart, I am not, but Alice Cooper, I may be close to. Do not know. Let's see. We covered all the topics we could cover in Stupid O'Clock. I don't know how much longer I can keep on doing this, folks. It was fun when there were people here with me, but having to just sit here and monologue for a little while and then run a couple of commercials and just shuffle off to Buffalo is kind of like, I could be hugging my wife right now. Some things are more rewarding than others. I wouldn't say more important, but yeah, these things, they happen. Considering this show's been going on since the plague years, and it's basically supposed to be the after party for Stupid O'Clock, but most of the folks on Stupid O'Clock just kind of go, we've done our bit, we're going to bed, it's too late at night, And I'm sitting here going, I'm just waking up. So 6 and 1/2 dozen the other. I'll keep doing it as long as people keep watching it. Don't really. I mean, it's not like I'm out to get monetized or anything. So don't worry about that. It won't be a business loss, and it probably wouldn't be a great loss to Joe Dog and Stupid O'Clock if I just went, nobody shows up. I'm not going to do the show unless people are going to show up. So, but let's see, where do I have to go tomorrow? I probably have to drive my wife to church tomorrow. She took a bad fall and may not be able to drive. So I've got to be able to get up and take her to church and then show up to. Wait a minute, she probably will not go to church because she just had dental surgery and the stitches have not come out yet. So she may decide not to go to church tomorrow. I may have to drive her to the same church to get on a church bus to go to the elementary school where she is a teacher's aide once a week. I don't know. We'll just see how it plays out. I'm adaptable. So that'll happen as it happens, if it happens, when it happens. Which sounds like a Mr. Spockism, but not quite. Not quite. Let's see. Go to Amazon, buy my books, go to Bandcamp, buy my music. Got a request from someone who is a very dear friend asking me if I had any sci-fi / Irish music in my repertoire, and I went searching through Bandcamp for stuff that's been released. I'm going, lots of sci-fi, but there's nothing that even sounds vaguely Irish. So, sorry. It's not a niche that I ever thought of filling before, and because of the way that I compose the music, if I don't find the instrument voices in the collection of instrument voices I have, then I can't do anything with it at all. Which is not to say that I could not spend extra money and download stuff that's specifically for different areas of Great Britain, but I haven't seen anything like that yet. Otherwise, I've gotten it. Usually, different sets of instrument voices are fairly cheap, and I'm not in the middle of a financial crisis at the moment. Maybe later. Never can tell what the future will hold. Right now, I'm waiting on the state tax refund. Everything else for this month seems to come in on time and right at the budget. So we can afford to live for another month. Um, but if I start having to spend stuff out of the retirement fund, that cuts off the number of months that I will be able to afford to stay alive. Like I said, go buy my books, go buy the music. Um, it's not entirely important right now. It will become vitally important later when the funds start running low. Like if you just got married and you're in your 20s, when your kids are as old as you are now, that'll be the time when I will really need the money, or I'll already be shuffled off this mortal coil. Who knows? I could get struck by a car walking to the mailbox tomorrow, for all I know, because people drive like idiots on this road. Thankfully, we were out in the middle of nowhere, so it's usually quiet, but people just ignore the fact that the road is not straight as an arrow and they just fly down through here. There's been 10, maybe 15 car wrecks right at the end of my driveway where people have miscalculated the safe speed and flown off the road in my next door neighbor's yard. He did the right thing. He's got a huge ditch with a bunch of rocks at the bottom. You fly off into that, you're going to pay a more severe price than rolling on your roof and sliding sideways into one of my trees, which has happened several times already. Still skid marks on the road where they tried to stop, but it was a little bit too late. I've been driving this road for, let's see, 51 years. So I know where you need to slow down. I'm well aware of where the dangerous parts of the road are. So once I get close to my driveway, don't get annoyed if I put the brakes on and turn the turn signal on and turn into my driveway. If you want to go 75 in a 35-mile-an-hour zone, wait till I'm out of your way. And when I hear the crash, I will call 911. If I don't hear a crash, I will guess that your guardian angel was sitting on your shoulder that day. People think out in the wilderness like this, and it's really not a wilderness. I mean, we're roughly about 7 miles in any direction from the closest town. It's got enough isolation where it's peaceful and quiet most of the time, but it's close enough to a college town and a couple of local towns so that we get a decent amount of opportunities to go shopping for things, whether it be a bag of nails from the local hardware store or groceries from a local or semi-local um, chain grocery store. We just, I kind of like it that way. I've lived in big cities. I've lived in small towns. I've lived in what amounted to villages. And I've lived out in the middle of absolutely nowhere. And except for the convenience of being able to go shopping, whether it's on foot or in a vehicle, I have grown to appreciate the countryside more and more. I ain't got much for anybody to want to covet or appropriate, but what I do have, I'm happy with. And I do believe one of the important parts of life is being able to find happiness in whatever your particular personal circumstances have to be at the time, unless they are really unfortunate, in which case you need to find a way to change your circumstances if you can. It's not always easy to do that. Uh, don't know if Granny's rheumatism medicine is going to help me much tonight, but thank you, Granny. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm 67. I'll be 68 this year. Aches and pains and hate to admit it, but growing old brings with it its own set of aches and pains. Some of them are treatable, some of them are just chronic, and you just got to learn to live with it. Oh, if we can just keep on keeping on, we'll be doing fine. Not too worried about the current political climate because I don't pay any attention to them. Stock market's going crazy. Of course, it always is a roller coaster. Mostly in election years, but sometimes there's a bit of upheaval in the first year or two after that. We are in the first year after an election, so some things are not as easily acquired as far as groceries go. Brand of eggs that my wife prefers to buy are never in stock anymore. They're free range, cage free, all kind of natural stuff. But that particular brand is going, hey, we will send you an email as soon as we're able to start selling eggs again. Now, that doesn't mean that the local grocery stores are out of eggs, they're just stocked with things that she does not consider ethical methods of raising hens. So, that's probably unimportant and not necessary for me to say. And I'm running down on monologue material at the moment. I already told you to go buy my books or buy my music, and that's pretty good. Let me go over here to this other the media assets directory. I'm going to play you a couple of commercials. The weather looks nice and clear right now, but never can tell when the power is going to go out back here. They don't really care too much about getting out and fixing stuff this close to their home office. They concentrate on stuff farther away, which is probably a wise business decision, I suppose, but there are a lot of folks that depend on a dependable supply of electricity, and if you're broadcasting to YouTube, you pretty much kind of need electricity, just a little bit. So let me pay the bills here. These are ads for me. It's not like I've got somebody else's ads. Don't have room for them in the platform at the moment, so I can't play ads for my friends. I wish I could, but there's a lot of stuff that even my slimmed down and stripped down hot rod version of this particular program does not have available space for promoting my friends. I wish I could. I really wish I could. So here's an ad for the latest book that just came out about 3 weeks ago or so, and hope you enjoy. In the early days of the Korean War, an underage boy ran away from his family's farm in West Virginia to join the Army. He quickly transferred to the Air Corps and became a fighter pilot. Somehow, he became useful to several alphabet agencies, so he was recruited to help them during the Cold War. Eventually, he got tired of being a spy and tried to retire. Fate had other ideas. These are some of the early adventures of Captain Tom Darby of the U.S. Army Air Corps. From before that fateful night, he rode his motorcycle around a curve too fast on a back road in rural Georgia and accidentally began a new life entirely. Yeah, both of those are mine, and they were played in the continuity order. Um, Disposable Man happened first, but was published third. Um, Abducted was written first and published first, but it's a direct sequel to Disposable Man. I mean, seriously, the last sentence of Disposable Man is the first sentence of Abducted, so they blend together as seamlessly as I can make it do. Um, I thought Tom Darby was going to be a one-off character, but he just tends to show up in lots and lots and lots of stories. The book that is at the publisher now that has not been scheduled for editing yet, but hopefully will come out sometime this year, probably late this year, has Tom Darby is a 87-year-old man, um, which I had not contemplated when I wrote Abducted back in the late 90s. Uh, Disposable Man, I had the idea for, but I had to go through lots of iterations of the character before I got to that point. I really needed to be a much better writer, which thankfully I have become. Um, I was reading the book on my Kindle just the other day, celebrating its release. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, this is a whole lot better than I remember it being when we were going through the editing process on it. So thank you, Three Ravens Publications. Um, y'all have done right by me. I'm going to stick with you. Yes, I do have works in progress that are not finished yet. What writer doesn't have works in progress that are not finished yet? Um, One of them is a fantasy story, just standard quiz type fantasy with talking animals and trolls and um, nature spirits and whatnot. Um, Another is a what was conceived as a series of 4 steampunk books, but I decided that the first 2 of the proposed stories in the series that I'd come up with were basically world building and background that I needed to know, but nobody would really want to read. So I'm concentrating on finishing up the third story, which leads indirectly into the fourth story, but not as closely as having the first word of one be the last word of the other. But never can tell. Might get there. Who knows? I like steampunk. It's a fun genre to write in. Have fun uh, designing the tech that goes along with it, so that I can present it in a way that feels as natural and as part of the character's world as um, going to the store would be at ours. I promise I'll finish this stuff. I've got lots of other things outlined, several nice projects that at the moment, while they only exist as outlines, there have been individual bits and pieces written. There should be a second Spaceport Bar book sometime. Can't say real soon, but I've got about a third of that written. I need to find the time to write the other 2/3. Uh, my publisher wants me to do a collection of my Spaceport Bar stories that I did not have anything to do except for inspiring. They are by other writers entirely. That will be not a collection, but an anthology of other writers' work. I've already got permission from several of the writers. I mean, the Spaceport Bar series has been ongoing in my e-zine for ever, since 1995, even though the e-zine didn't start until 97. I was affiliated with a different e-zine at the time, but I had the first 2 stories of the first collection together by then. They're fun to write. They're full of historical and literary references, which I just love to drop in. Pop culture references all the time. They do get dated quickly, but since time travel is a thing in that universe, being dated is not necessarily an impediment. What else? Oh, there's a couple of things. There's fantasy stories that I've quote unquote finished, but I could rewrite. It would take a while because my interests and my drives have changed since I wrote that. So, and hopefully I might even be able to write a good villain this time instead of just some foaming at the mouth, slathering comic book sort of villain. Notice I carefully did not say which comic book company. So yeah, fill in that blank on your own. There's always a work in progress on the back burner. Any and every writer will tell you that there's stuff you haven't finished yet that you really want to accomplish before you shuffle off this mortal coil. And sometimes you actually do buckle down and get it done, and sometimes you have to leave your notes and ideas and proposals for a story plot and subject to what amounts to your literary estate. Because, I mean, time's long, but lifespans are dramatically shorter. I don't have as many years left as I've already experienced. I'm also going to be Once my wife's dentures are finished and she can eat more than just soup, I'll also be doing an outdoor cooking show. Because I've got a little cast iron stove out on the patio and got it set up to where I can do a few things. I mean, I'm not a world class chef or anything. I'm just a country boy, a farm boy who learned a lot from his mom and dad, aunts and uncles, um, grandmothers, uh, cousins, and whatnot. Managed to keep myself alive during college. That was a long time ago, and I'm still doing pretty well. My wife likes my cooking. Um, I have to learn how to control the heat on that stove a little bit better before I could actually cook anything on it, which gives me time because it'll take a while before um, my wife's dentures are ready and the stitches from the oral surgery is due to come out. Um, there's always also uh, family stuff, which y'all don't need to know anything about. And it does kind of um, always sit at the back of my mind and make it difficult for me to concentrate on what's going on that isn't family stuff in the back of my mind. Um, that was a bad place to pause there, Daniel. Um, well, can't help that. I'm freeforming here. So, all right, we've gone 30 minutes, 38 minutes in. Um, Allow me to make Dawn roll over in bed and reach for her tie-dyed sock. And from there, I'll close out everything. And thank y'all for putting up with me for this brief period of time. Yeah, Carl, you're not going to have to watch for very long tomorrow. Oh, I really need to trim my beard. It's starting to look like it's growing off to one side more than the other, and that's aggravating me to no end. This side looks like it's trying to curl around the back of my head, and this side looks not too bad, just kind of scruffy. So we'll see what we can see when we can see it. Um, see, it's already Sunday in my time zone. Not too many minutes into Sunday, but somewhat. Um, like I said, go look up everything and check it out. And if you feel inclined to throw a couple of dollars my way, that's fine. There's no Patreon here. There's no memberships. There's no nothing. If you decide to like, share, and subscribe, um, it'll help out more than just me. It'll help out the community that I'm part of. But that's not what I'm after. YouTube is never going to be a means of employment. It is an outlet. It is a way for me to commune with my fellow wizards and hobnob with um, very, very interesting people that I have been lucky enough to have made the acquaintance of over the years. So, let's see. I think that's about everything I've got to say at the moment. Thanks to everybody that's been supporting me emotionally and with their friendship. And thanks to everybody who has been along for the ride so far. It's been a ride. Yeah. Don't think there's any way other to describe it than that. So I'm going to click the link here and play the bedtime story and then shut the program down completely. Well, not completely. I mean, it's not the last program I'm ever going to do. But, for tonight, and hopefully get some sleep. Depending on the weather, I may have a lot to do tomorrow. I don't know. Tomorrow, later today, since it's already after midnight, we shall see. I have no idea what I am going to be doing or need to be doing, but I'm starting to feel the need to get there and do it. So we'll see you later. Next Stupid O'Clock and Last Man Standing will be Thursday night. If you know what the green room is, if you don't know what the green room is, you're going to have to join Uncle Carl's Secret Humor Group on Facebook to get a clue. Aside from that, I can't think of anything else I need to say. So, good night, folks. Thank you for your company, whether it's right now or on a rewatch later on, because I realize not everybody can stay up this late. But see you later.
Transmission overload.
System will shut down. System will shut down. System will shut down. System will shut down. System will shut down.